So I've decided to jump on a quick video here, and I felt the need to respond to a couple of comments, which was questions, and I like a good Q&A. Very interactive, like what you're doing, guys. But it's really, really cool, in all honesty, because like basically that's why people like us are putting all this energy stuff out there. People are like you are pitching up and coming to our platforms, and we're vibing and all that kind of thing, because we're all trying to figure this shit out, right? And the more we interact and the more we have questions and the more, you know, you can like vibe like that, the more effective these platforms are, and the chances of you being able to move through stuff is going to be a lot more rapid and a lot more quicker, you know? So I encourage the comments in the box. You know, I will always respond, you know that, because I like a good interaction, you know what I mean? Like through the comment boxes, but also as well, if there's a question you have and I feel like the inspiration to do a video like now, then it can be extremely assistive, because there's probably another 20 people that are kind of going, oh yeah, I wanted to know about that. So this is what this video is all about, right? So this one I'm going to talk about is basically purging the old habits, not just the old emotions, right? So what I mean by that is there's many of us that go about our spiritual path in a certain way. Trying too hard is one of them. You know, doing rather than being, right? It's a classic, isn't it? It's like a bit of an eye roll, actually, because I mean, I'm so busy and I'm so out there and I'm like, right, let's make things happen. So many people say, you need to be still and all that kind of thing. And I get it, but I am like Tigger, and I do like to bounce. Do you know what I mean? So I have to work very hard to kind of really take that advice on board and embody that, because I just bounce way too much. So that's me going about my spiritual path, probably a little bit too hectically. Do you know what I mean? And I just need to calm it all down a little bit. So I have to like give a lot of awareness and focus every day in the morning to really coming into myself and really grounding in my being. Hey, I'm not going to change my personality. I'm always going to be like a whole another level of mental. And I love that. People love that. Oh, wake you up, you know? I don't want to take that away from myself, but I need to be really earthed into the ground before I do it, because when I go along in my spiritual path in that way and I'm not grounded, I have that fireman's hose of energy that I speak about, and I'm just spraying my energy everywhere, and then I get really, really tired, you know, and I achieve absolutely zero. So that is a perfect example of my shadow side of going about my spiritual path in maybe not so great way. Okay, that's before I've even looked at my issues of self-doubt or my core issues of, you know, fear, anxiety, or whatever, you know, whatever is above, you know. So with that, when we say, right, I'm really trying to expand, I'm really trying to open up more, you know, there's a lot of doing in that, and trying, like, basically energy and spirit is effortless, right? And that is what we've all come here to master and remember, okay? That it is indeed that. Effortless, easeful, and flow, right? And we've been doing it in such a trying way for so long. To be fair, loving kindness towards ourselves, we haven't really been supported by the energies in the world to actually help us be able to be in ease and flow, because it's always been so rah. We've had a lot going at us. But this new timeline that's come in, the highest one, we're now starting to get real close, if not unpack it, if not move through to the next level of going, oh, this is how easy it really, really is, because we've got a lot less adversity coming against us. Why? Because we have gone through an exponentially massive shift in consciousness, right? So to be fair, we have had the energies against us a little bit, but that's why we've been doing our shadow work. That's why we're here. That's why as light workers, we've just been getting through it. Do you know what I mean? But now, talk about present moment, you know, it's basically about now maybe giving a bit of awareness, focus and attention to how you go about your path. And we're not, like I say, we're not even talking about the shadow aspects of your emotions yet, how you approach it, right? So I'm going to talk about trying, because trying is basically from the mental body, okay? It's like, you know, if I physically do that, and if I go at my meditation and I do 2 meditations this morning and 2 tonight, it becomes like a chores list, and you start to tick things off, which means all of that effort that you have basically interacted with your spiritual practice goes absolutely nowhere. Why? Because you approached it from the wrong energy field, which was your mind, right? So that's, and that can just keep you looping, because you go, oh, I just did it again. I like kind of like went from the mental body, but then the mental body tells you that you came from the mental body, and then you go into your meditation in the mental body and you just go, Wow, I know it's hectic, and we just got to leave that alone. So that comes from trying. So for those that want to know, maybe focus on the energy field of trying. So we always like have that go-to, oh, I need to look at my fear. I need a healing session on anxiety. And we go straight to the emotion, right? Because that's our pain. But maybe we need to just expand our awareness a bit, and maybe those will all disappear or diminish quite a lot if we look at our physical, I suppose, physical habits on how we go about approaching our spiritual path. So as we know, trying is a belief system as well in itself, because how many times have we been told hard work breeds good results, right? Our parents told us that. So in a way, we have to disintegrate that, and we have to take that out of our energy field, which is why our ancestral clearing is always up front and center. We were the ones that said we were going to kind of clear that, us particular ones, which is why it's so damn intense, because we are just clearing all of that. So all of these things that we're told, you know, hard work, you know, breeds good results. You know what I mean? You know, laziness is the devil's playground or whatever it is, but it's not laziness. We've been programmed to not be still and tap in, because no, that's laziness. So you see all of these things that we've been told and we've been programmed with, even our forefathers, foremothers, you know, that they also were told that as well. So we have to give ourselves a bit of a break and understand, oh, that's why I try so hard to do my spiritual path, because I've still got an energy field running from, you know, from my ancestors, that was the belief system that how you got shit done. But this is the new you, and this is this is the new earth way of being and understanding, which they don't want us to tap into, free thinkers and all that kind of stuff. You know, we're collapsing all of that. So when I say be a bit gentle on yourself, if you're really finding that you're stuck in that energy field of trying, okay, and it's like really is your nightmare nemesis, okay, then that, I've always said, if you're feeling it, you're clearing it, okay? But also as well, if you are also coming up again to the same issue again and again and again, the actual understanding of that is it's screaming to be transformed. So that's with any issue, actually, not even just behavioral patterns, any issue at all. If it is repetitive and you're still dealing with the same thing, then it's actually screaming to be transformed, or that soul aspect that broke away, which is trying too hard, wants to be called back home. So what would be the opposite to trying? Being. Like self-doubt, the opposite to that is self-trust. Do you know what I mean? So basically start dismantling it and picking it apart, because the mind is a beautiful thing when you get it on sides and it starts working with you, because it can unpack this kind of stuff and like really bring it into a perfect, brand new divine structure. But if you're not looking at it in that way, it can be the absolute downfall of you, and your mind will just put the last nail in your coffin kind of vibe. So look at, you know, maybe start looking at the polar opposites of what the issue is, your behavioral pattern. So if you're doing too much, you need to actually look at it and be still when I approach things. Do you know what I mean? If you are, well, yeah, that's basically, and that's all. I don't want to complicate it. You know what I mean? So I hope that helps. Okay. So then the other thing I wanted to speak about is another thing that we fall short on is, and I've learned this the hard way, we all have, that's why I'm able to talk about it, you know, we go from classic, rescuing, okay, to basically going back to that being thing, meaning being an example to the rest of the world, just being in your energy, doing you, boo, you know what I mean? And that gets put into the grid. Everybody receives that. We're all divine mirrors of each other. So if I'm sat here being happy, somewhere along the lines in the grid, you're going to get that. I don't need to kind of cross over to your suburb and bang on your door and go, hey, I'm going to sit with you in your lounge and I'm going to make you happy. What can we do? I mean, people are going to be like, well, you can leave. That's for sure. Do you know what I mean? Get out of my house. Your Fruit Loop, you know, but like that's kind of like rescuing versus just being. Or we can just beam our sunshine out on our front porch and everybody's going to see it and they're going to drive past and go, oh, that's really nice. And they're going to bask in your light and you're just going to carry on doing you, boo. Do you know what I mean? So So one of the questions was like, you know, this is for you, Sunny. One of the questions was about, you know, sort of like, I can see so many people, you know what I mean? They're really struggling with their path and everything like that. And, you know, I'm stepping out and trying to help them and trying to get them to understand and everything, you know. I've been there so many times. I think all of us, as anyone who's spiritual, we've all taken it upon ourselves that somebody else's burden is ours. And even when I started as I started off as a crystal healer many years ago, even as an exercise specialist, you know, all of this is just obviously taking people's problems on board and helping them move through it. Now, I was supposed to space hold in the beginning, but I used to walk away with everybody's shit because I'm like, just give it to me. Because I wanted them to be so happy in their lives and I didn't want them to be in pain because I just don't like it. I'm just like, oh no, please be happy. Let's, you know, what can I do? And I will bend over backwards to help you. And I did. And I basically took everybody's burdens. But then over the years, I learned that that is their path to walk. So if we step over the boundary and we start to rescue, we first of all put the burden on us, which is not what we're supposed to do. So you will crumble. It's a no-brainer. And then the second one is like you take away their path. You take away, in fact, you actually elongate their pain because what you do is if you take it from them, you actually stop them because think about it like this. If somebody comes to you with a problem and you're like, right, I'm going to fix this, give it to me, don't worry, then they don't learn the lesson. They don't go through not having any money. They don't go through the illness and the pain of the illness for them to actually get to the real end, to go, stuff this for a game of soldiers. I need to heal myself. That's when the magic happens, when it all falls apart. But if we keep pulling people back from the brink of when they fall apart, they will never fall apart. Why? Because you're always there to basically save their ass. And like now, all of a sudden, you're slowing the evolution of humanity coming up to the highest vibration. So stop rescuing. But how we work, this is the best way that I explain it to everyone here. You ready for one of Marie's analogies? Right. This is the best way to understand this. If you had a patch of grass, okay, and it was just like square around you, right? All your job was to water that grass, weed that grass, make sure it's just super lovely and green and growing. That's all you had to do. Now imagine if the next person did exactly the same. They're not looking at your patch of grass going, oh, you got a worm there. Oh, there's a little weed there. I think you need to just, they're not doing that. They're just taking care of their patch of grass. I don't need anybody to tell me what my gardening looks like because I'm very good at it and I'm very happy with my grass. It's healthy, it's green, it's gorgeous, it's high vibe. So the next person basically goes and does the same thing. And then the next person, the next person. Nobody looks over their wall to look at what you're doing. We just focus on our spot. Now we'd bring all of those patches of grass together and we create the biggest green like lawn all over the world. Shit, then we're done. That's all we have to do. So now I think you get the concept of the importance and the power of not rescuing, not getting involved in anybody else's shit. Just stay there because people, if they're not getting their grass right, they're going to look at your grass and go, mine doesn't look like that. It looks a bit brown. Okay, let me just go and Google something and find out what's going on. And then they will correct themselves. So you will be a leading example on what it is to actually grow really, really cool green grass. And people are going to be inspired to be like you and actually putting their little toe on your grass. They're going to go, oh, that feels really nice. And you're going to go, I know, hey, but you do you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the importance of that. So I decided to just cut the video there purely because the next stage I was going to go into, still addressing someone's comment and question, that's a whole nother podcast, yo. So I'm actually going to do that in another video. And that video is going to be, how do you open up more? I kind of started and I was like, there's a lot I want to share with you here because I've actually been through a very recent expansion, a propulsion, if you will, up to the next level because of this particular subject. And I've got stuff to share with you and I've got tools, man. I've got tools. So I'm going to like leave this video where it is. Okay. And I hope that this like kind of like brought some light to your questions. As I say, if you want to know anything about the life according to Marie, pop something in the comments box. I'm always here to do that. You know that. So yeah, let's vibe. And as always, just go to the link that will be in the write-up, and that will take you through to Marie Magick, which is a sign up for the newsletter. And yeah, the newsletter will have all the discounts, or like all my meditations that I don't post on YouTube. Some I do, some I don't. Some I post there first and then later. So it's kind of like the exclusive spot to get all the bits and pieces right off the bat. So get onto the newsletter, and then yeah, you'll receive a little bit more than here. And then of course we've got the Heka Codes, which is the Heka Codes is like, you know, the activations of your magic and medicine. So all of this that I'm talking about, you know, one-on-ones, if you go to the link, it'll all be in there and then explain how the sessions work. You know, you want to get online, you want to bring things onto the next level, Heka Codes is for you. And of course, the Tablets of Light tour, April 27th. I am so excited. I'm going to burst. So I will just leave that there. And all of that information is in the link. So love and light, y'all. I'm going to go off and do that next video, part 2. Anyway, chat soon.